Lions versus the Niners. That was a game when the Lions were winning most of the game. It looked like they were going to get to the Super Bowl, and they just couldn't pull it off at the end. Roland, what are your initial thoughts on this game?
Oh man, it's just disappointing. I mean, I've been picking the Niners the entire year, so being right is totally fine by me. However, as a unbiased fan of this game, because I don't have any skin in it, I really wanted the Lions to pull this one out, dude. I really did. And at the end of the day, playing ultra aggressive came back to bite them. I know that they've played that way all year. I know they've gone on it in 4th and short all year. But you got to take the points when they're given to you, right? It all started in that second half when they went for it on 4th and 2. They kick a field goal there. It's this 3-score game. It's only like a 40-yard field goal. I know that field goals aren't a guaranteed thing in the NFL, but that one was pretty much a gimme if you're a professional, right? After that, San Francisco was able to go on a 27-0 run, 27 unanswered points to leading up to the fourth quarter, midway through the fourth quarter. Brock Purdy did his thing, mostly on the ground. I mean, he had 267 passing, a touchdown, but the big plays were made when he scrambled and he kept things alive. That's what really broke the Detroit defense. McCaffrey had himself a game, 20 carries, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the momentum, I have never seen a game quite like that outside of the infamous Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl, where the momentum just switched like that. As soon as they got that stop on 4th and 2, it was all San Francisco the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I remember I was watching the game, and the Lions went for that 4th down, and you texted me, and you're like, dude, why did they do that?
Yeah.
And from that point forward, they, San Francisco got the ball. They went down and scored. The Lions got the ball back. They fumbled it. The Niners got great field position. They scored again. And like to your point, the Lions were doing everything good in the first half. They're moving the ball, playing defense. McCaffrey had a rough first half of the game. And then the second half, you brought up what was the biggest difference for that Niners offense, at least to be able to move the ball and score, besides the momentum that the defense created with their stops, was Brock Purdy running the ball really did open up things for everyone else. And as soon as the Lions had to start accounting for that, McCaffrey was getting going again. They were able to get Ayuk. Ayuk actually had a couple of really good catches as well in that game.
Well, that catch where it bounced off the face mask of the defender and then he caught it, he said after the game that a ladybug had landed on his foot pregame, so he knew that he was going to have a good game. Hey, right? It's just
it was his lucky day for sure.
It was lucky. That was lucky as all can be. But credit needs to be given to San Francisco because you do need to come back and make the plays to come back. But this was more of a collapse on part of Dan Campbell and the receivers, just dropping balls everywhere.
Josh Reynolds had some tough drops. 2 of them that I remember.
Freaking looking like Kadarius Toney out there. Like 2 huge drops. And honestly, they not only were aggressive on that first 4th and 2, but they doubled down on it late in the 4th. I'm just like, if you would have just attempted 2 field goals, you have the lead. Like that's what matters there, because not only would the momentum not had shifted so much, because you go up 27-10, it's still a 3-score game. There's still a lot more pressure on the offense. I'm telling you, it was almost as if it was a light switch. Once the Niners got that stop, that first 4th down stop, from there, Detroit had lost the game.
And I mean, one of Dan Campbell, like he's one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. I think he's fantastic, but they've been aggressive all year. It's been their play style, but at the same time, that's usually a decision that they're making in their games that are close already. They did already have the lead. They were already up, and all they really had to do was at least play even to finish the game. They didn't even have to go out and kill them or anything like that. They could just, take their points when they're there, control the clock, make San Francisco take time to go down and score. But, it is a questionable decision by Dan Campbell for sure. I don't think he or the team regrets it. I think they're going to keep playing like that all, the rest of their time going forward. But, that's got to be a heartbreaker for Lions fans. And I know Niners fans were definitely nervous there for a sec, but that team, when they smelled blood in the water,
They went
you
after
could
it.
not stop them.
They went after it on that offensive side of the ball. As soon as they realized they had a chance, it was over. 27 unanswered. They ended up going up by 10 points. And then there was another questionable decision that might be kind of going under the radar. Was that last final drive where Detroit scored. They had to take a timeout to get in the end zone. I think it would have been better had they just kicked a field goal and had the 3 timeouts to have a legit chance to get a stop. Because with 2 timeouts and it's past the 2-minute warning, you can just kneel out the game, right? You can literally just hand the ball off and the game's over. Whereas if you kick a field goal, there's still 40, 50 seconds left. You have 3 timeouts. You have a chance to get the ball back. I know it'd be a Hail Mary, but a Hail Mary, statistically speaking, is more likely to happen than an onside kick recovery, just ever since they changed the rules. So that was another kind of mishap on Dan Campbell's part. Shout out to him for getting the Lions here so quickly. I mean, coach of the year probably, in my opinion. But it did not look good. They also didn't run the ball quite as much in the second half. For whatever reason, they were running all over the place in the first half. And they kind of got a little bit more finesse driven. But man, if you're a Lions fan or just a fan of the underdog in this one stings like no other.